Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Today I'm going to show you how to get a rear axle out of a Toyota 4Runner. And this is a 2000 Toyota 4Runner. And the first step, of course, is get your tire off. And then get your brake drum off. And then you'll want to go ahead and take off all your components. I went ahead and cleaned mine with brake cleaner. That's the problem I'm having. I went ahead and replaced my inner seal. And I'm still getting some fluid coming through. As you can see all along here, it's covered. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the axle out and then have it rebuilt and put it back in. This is a handy tool. This will take your springs off. Of course, you want to take pictures of everything before you get started. That way you'll know exactly where everything goes back on. Try not to damage these clips because you can bend them back on. Right here, that's what I'm taking off now. Okay, once it's all the way seated, take off some more stuff. What I ended up doing, I ended up taking the brake shoe out of the brake cylinder slot there. That's how I got that out. And what I just did there, I pulled these apart and turned this to get that off, and that'll relieve the tension on this top spring. Bottom spring will come off. Okay, then you want to take the brake cable off, or the cable off that goes for the brakes. Okay, once you get that all off, you want to loosen up your brake cylinder. You've got two bolts right here that you want to loosen up. And the next thing I did, I went ahead and loosened these wheel cylinder bolts, because I'm going to put the wheel cylinder back onto the brake line as soon as I get the axle out. That way it will minimize the loss of brake fluid. And then the next step will be to get these two bolts out here. Now you may think it should just come out now, but you got to take these two springs off, and then it'll lift away from the back plate. To get your axle out, you got this one. There's two on top and two on the bottom. Once you get your nuts off of these bolts off the back plate here, you want to go ahead and take off your wheel cylinder mounting bolts here. And these, I believe, are 10 millimeter. Okay, and then go ahead and loosen this up all the way and take the wheel cylinder off. And I just recently replaced this seal, so I'm not going to go ahead and replace it, but I'm going to have the axle rebuilt, and then I'll show you the installation. And then you'll want to wipe, if there's like magnetic debris or debris right in here, just wipe that clear, or wipe any magnetic debris you might have on that. That's your sensor for your ABS brakes. Too bad. You can see where I hit it a little bit when I tried to get the ring out last time. And of course the O-ring here. I'm going to go ahead and replace this, but I'll leave it on there for now. This is the axle itself, and you can see a lot of grease is coming out of the bearings. So something's not right in there. There's the ABS ring. And there's the race. Alright, I went ahead and put the wheel lug nuts back on just to keep the threads from getting all damaged when I take it down to the machine shop. And then I got a cushion bag for the top that should protect the splines. That's ready to go. Alright, I got the axle back. It's been rebuilt. Looks very nice. Got no wobble anymore. So I went ahead and bought an O-ring to go on the outside of the axle. This one was a little bit squished, it looks like here. So we'll throw that one away. We'll put a new one on. We'll just wipe the outside here. Clean it up. Put the new one on. Alright, and I did replace the inner axle seal about 10 months ago, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it since I got one with the kit. So what you could do, this is a 16-inch pry bar, so I'm going to try this one. And what I did last time, I used one of these pry bars, and it seemed to work. So let's see which one works better. See, it is starting to move a little bit. Take out the spring. There we go. Come right out. Okay, here's the new axle seal, and I went in and put it in the freezer just to make it a little easier to go in. And then I have this also. I'm just going to put it around the outside of it and hit it with the rubber mallet to get it in position. But first I'll get some gear lube, put some gear lube on this. Just work around the hole. It looks pretty well centered.
You just want to make sure it's flush along that inner lip right in here. And once it's all the way in there, you'll want to throw some gear lube on it, or gear oil.
You should do this with gloves on. That way you don't get gear oil all over your hands. Okay, once you get that lubed up, you can put your axle back in the shaft. This one going nice and slow. Of course, you need to take off your brake caliper. Okay, you can go ahead and tighten these bolts to 84 inch-pounds for the caliper bolts that go onto the mounting bracket or the mounting plate. Okay, after tightening your wheel cylinder mounting bolts to 84 inch-pounds, you want to go ahead and just wiggle your mounting plate into the axle hub. Make sure it's flush. And then these nuts get tightened to 48 foot-pounds. Okay, you want to tighten these down in a crisscross pattern. That way it pushes the axle into the shaft evenly. And then you can go ahead and torque it down. You can put your brake assembly back on the mounting plate. That's what the other side looks like. And we'll torque these down.
make sure your parking brake lever goes under here, and your spring goes behind this plate. And make sure this piece is sticking out. And you'll want to adjust your brakes to where the drum fits snug. So just move the wheel out, and that'll push the brake shoes out. That's pretty snug, so that's enough right there. I don't know if you can see it, but the machine shop dinked up the back end of my mounting plate, and the drum is going to have to move with the axle. So I need to knock the inside of this out a little bit. Okay, once you've bled your brakes, there's the bleeder bolt right there. So once you've bled your brakes and torqued your tire back on, your lug nuts are going to be 83 foot-pounds in this case. And so what you want to do after that is top off your rear differential fluid in case you lost some when you pulled out your axle. So this is a 24 millimeter, and this is the fill tube right here. Okay. Got it loose. And there's nothing coming out. Well, maybe a little bit. I'll go ahead and put some in it just in case it needs some more. What I'm using here is GL5 80W90 gear oil. Well, it looks like it's coming out pretty good, so it is full. Go ahead and let that drain out. And all I did, I had this side up a little bit, and it kept most of the fluid from coming out. Really, I didn't have any fluid that came out. So it should be full. And the torque on this is 36 foot-pounds. Well, this has been Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your next home or automotive project.